Good afternoon, class. My name is Joseph Lamont, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Vice magazine. It is a very popular magazine, and so this is a sample of a lot of their covers, and we're going to talk more about this in just a little bit. I just kind of want to introduce myself first. Um, so these are the key terminology and concepts. These are pulled straight from the book. Uh, we're going to hit at least five of these, if not all of them. We're going to talk about values, norms, folkway, taboo, sanction, social control, dominant culture, subculture, counterculture, and cultural imperialism. And we're also going to talk about ID, ego, and superego. I made this one its own slide and put the definition straight from the book because I want to briefly talk about it. Um, ID consists of basic inborn drives, your instincts. I got this little picture under here. Ego is going to be what's actually going on, and the superego is uh, your ideal view, your the epitome of your paradigm, right? So in this picture, it says morality, uh, and so we're going to talk about what Vice is and what Vice does. Um, so Vice, and this is straight from the website, it says over 500 premium publishers target a youthful, influential 18 to 34-year-old millennial audience from a global to local level. We captivate Generation Y across a broad set of passion points segmented into a number of different channels, which allows us to drive deeply into our audience interests. And we're going to go over all the things that their news station, this media source covers. Urban Dictionary defines millennials as otherwise known as Generation Y or the Internet generation. Millennials are people born between the years of 1980 and 1995. Millennials are often echo boomers. Their parents were part of the baby boom, and they often extremely tech savvy. Now, Urban Dictionary isn't a reputable source, but I'm putting it on there because Urban Dictionary kind of started with millennials, and so this is kind of how they view themselves. I myself as a millennial, I don't actually agree with this definition. Yeah, we're tech savvy, but we're also real lazy. And I chose Vice because we've been talking a lot about social media and Facebook, and a lot of people were talking about millennials last week. So I thought this was a perfect magazine to cover. Um, so while this may be a part of it, actually, I think we're a very self-entitled and lazy generation. Um, so the media covered on Vice, just like normal, like LA Times, New York Times, they're going to cover news, music, fashion, travel, sports, uh, impact, technology, food. Uh, some sources will cover gaming, but they have a whole section for it. They also do NSFW, which is not suitable for work, and do's and don'ts, like do's and don'ts of fashion, do's and don'ts of this or that or the other. Um, and they're real edgy. So the characteristics of their advertisements, they use a lot of sexual advertisements. A lot of their covers are not suitable for work. It captivates a lot of audience. It says relatability, excuse the K there. So a lot of the Generation Y can relate to a lot of the stories on this media outlet. These are examples of two of the headlines. It says the village that celebrates Easter by beating the hell out of each other. Um, and the picture I didn't feel was suitable for this presentation, but it was somewhat graphic. People, punching. It was kind of violent. It's going to catch your attention, and it's edgy, which my generation definitely likes. And the title itself, reputable news outlet, isn't most likely isn't going to use uh, vulgarity in the headline. And then this next one made me laugh a little bit because it sums up what my generation expects a lot of things to be. It's a surprisingly chill life of modern day gladiator. Modern day gladiators don't exist anymore. So of course it's going to be chill. What do you mean this isn't Sparta? Uh, they use this to relate because a lot of people want to be Spartans. Or a meme that I like is a lot of people want to be pirates until it's time to do pirate stuff. um, so some of the companies that advertise are Google, Smirnoff, Heineken, Harley Davidson, Intel, Levi's, Vans, other companies who are very in tune with what millennials like and enjoy. Um, so let's go back to, we're going to talk about some of the covers here. As you can see, it's very captivating, a lot of color. But if you look right here, it says Vice, the Iraqi issue. You got a little kid holding a firearm, which is pretty captivating. It's pretty sad. I'm active duty military, and it's sad to see what kids have to go through over there. Um, and so we're going to talk about the cultural imperialism and the imposition of one culture's beliefs on another culture through media and consumer products rather than by military. So I definitely feel in the modern day climate that publications like this are spreading. There's a certain way to think, and right now it's the counterculture, trying to go against the norm. But now counterculture has become the norm. So for me, I have pretty traditional values. And I'm sure a lot of people at this Cal Baptist do as well, such as I believe you should be married and have children. I don't judge other people for doing it. However, uh, I feel like I'm outside and I'm wrong to have some of the views that I have now, just because media is so far left and it uh, makes me feel guilty or tries to impose their way of thinking onto me. Um, and that's also part of social control. It's making other people conform to the norms of society, uh, which makes other people a hot topic right now. For example, would be gay and lesbian marriage. Uh, and this presentation may be a little um, going against the norms as well. So I don't mean to offend anybody, uh, but it's part of that social control. I'm even worried about saying certain things so I don't offend other people when I don't mean any offense at all. Just saying a point of view, and that's the form of the social control that my generation is going through right now. And with multiculturalism, you have all these cultures impacting us. I'm Middle Eastern. Grew up in Southern California. I live in Florida, which is very very south, for lack of a better term, redneck. And there's a lot of uh, different views here than that are of Southern California. Um, and so now we come to the next one, which would be dominant culture, the values, norms, and practice of the group within society that is most powerful. Wealth, prestige, status, influence, etc. So right now, like as I said, the dominant culture is definitely the far left, especially depending on where you live at. But even down south, people watch what they say all the time for fear of being ridiculed or fear of being judged. And it's definitely a change that I see needs to happen in society. And so Vice is all about going to that taboo. Um, you can even tell with this picture right here that's a anonymous mask. I believe those are marijuana leaves. And this is what they had for Vice News. This is you Google Vice News and boom, that's right there. So this publication definitely looks for millennials and advertises to them in a very specific and very effective way. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, and have a good night.